This is my pile of currently reading. It is now the 15th of December. Can I finish all of these before the end of the year so I can start the new year afresh? So first off, we have Assassin's Crest, which I'm doing on audio. And I know I've read this before. This is a reread. And I'm pulling my teeth. I'm dragging my feet because I know what happens in this book. And I don't want to feel that pain because this is really fucking heavy. Then there's Alchemized, which I don't even know how far I'm in. I'm doing the audiobook with that as well. So maybe not get that done because I'm taking notes as I'm reading it. So who knows? Then there's Strength of the Few, which I'm doing physically because I don't want to support Audible. So I'm not doing the audio for that one. Plus I think you need to listen to this one physically just because of some of the stuff. But I'm still in part 1 on that book. Then I promised my friend that I would buddy read Guns of the Dawn. And I started it. I am 144 pages through this book. But I hit a slump and then dived into monster romance. So I have not read this yet. Then there's House of Chains, which I'm further along than I thought I was in this one. I'm on chapter 19, page 738. I thought I was less through this. Then I started this book because a friend said it had a stone dildo in it and I got curious. So I'm not very far through this. I'm on page 66. It's like 300 pages. So I'm reading this because why not add more chaos? The Night Prince, which is book 2 to the Wolf King, because this is where I picked up when I went into like my monster romantasy kind of era, reading that. Oh, and there's also another buddy read I promised my friend to read, which was the Starless Seer, because we both got an art of it. So I said we buddy read together. That's 8 books. Can I do it? Put in the comments right now if you think I could do it. So I'm going to go and start. I'm going to start with a short book. I'm going to start reading Pirate's Life Fatigue and see if I can smash this out in a single day. So yeah, I finished a book. It is Wednesday the 17th of December and I finished one book out of like the 8-9 that I need to read. So this is going well. This is the shortest book as well. It feels like I'm reading this forever. But bearing in mind when I did start this, I was like on page 67, so I have pretty much read 300 pages. But I didn't love it. So when I read the first book, Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, I found it was entertaining. I had a good time. I still had issues with the main characters. I don't quite believe in their relationship. I find it very difficult to believe there's any kind of chemistry between the two. It's so bone dry. And this had a smut scene, bonus scene at the end of the book, and I'm reading it with a stone dildo, by the way, which, wild, concerning, I have questions and ow, but it was still bone dry. How can you write a romance that is so bone dry like the Sahara Desert? It's like Dragonfall all over again, right? There's no chemistry between the characters at all. That makes it really, really hard to believe anything's happening. And then there's another romance in this, which is the whole reason, like, because Can't Spell Treason Without Tea got criticised for having lesbians in it, so she doubled them, which is totally fine. I love Sapphic, but this, not it. The second couple was with a constable and a pirate, right? But we very rarely get those POVs, but those being in their heads was far more interesting than being in Rhaenyra's and Cantha's head, right? They had more character, they had more meat, they had just kind of like more stake, and just overall were better developed, right? Whereas Rhaenyra and Cantha weren't, and they technically should be at this point, considering they were in book 1 and they're in this book, and they're going to be through it. And I think this is what's really going to struggle with this series, because I think it would be a really, really good cozy series if the characters were just written remotely good. But they're not. They're just too dry. I'm repeating myself over and over again, but that is the whole point. They are just too dry. But I did enjoy Bobby and Serena. I did overall enjoy the whole story. Like, again, the problem is because you have Fancy is like the arcade or mages or whatever. She can basically magic herself out of any situation, which is a bit of a problem. When, yes, you're writing a cozy book, but there are some stakes in this. And then when you have those stakes come up and then you're just kind of like, oh, magic fixes it. Basically is the answer to most of these questions. Magic fixes it. And I just don't think, personally, that just did not work. I don't mind having that kind of soft magic system like the Gandalf side of it, where, yeah, they could come and fix the problem. But when it's every single time, I'm just like, ugh, I don't know. It's just not really for me. So this was a miss. Well, I own the rest of the series. I feel like I have to at least try. But if I'm reading the next book, and if I get to like 100 pages and I'm not enjoying it, I am giving up on this series, because I really, really hoped that Rebecca Thorne would really improve on her main character writing in this, and she just hasn't. And I know she wrote this series because of Legends of Lattes. Granted, I didn't love Legends of Lattes like everybody else did, but I did enjoy it. Books on Bones are amazing. But the characters were so well developed and done and leapt off the page and were full of depth and this and that, whereas this, it just kind of felt like she was trying to force something with these characters and it never really came naturally, and I can see through it, so it doesn't really seem believable. And I think it's just very easy to fix it with like showing a character's depth feeling. It just felt like you're telling me this and this, but there was no kind of showing or like reminiscence in their mind of what happened when this happened here, and thinking about it, and just there's just nothing there. There's no yearning. There's just nothing. It's sad. It's disappointing. But I finished it. I finished the book, so I am going to celebrate that by hopefully reading a banger. I don't know what I'm going to start next. I think I'm going to start The Last Stop on Sia next, because that's on ebook, and I'm going to look after a couple of dogs, and I don't really want to take my nice shiny Strength of the Few book just in case the dogs ruin it, because I've had that happen before. I think I'm going to start that on my e-reader, but hopefully I can get through that pretty quickly. I have started listening to Alchemist again, and I'm having to do it slowly because it's getting to the point of that book is going to take over my life, and I have a feeling it's going to be so good I'm not going to do anything else. That I have stuff to do that I just can't be reading the whole time, so it's going to just paralyze me from doing anything that I should be doing, and then it's probably going to ruin every book that I read after it, to the point that I'm probably going to need 2 to 3 business days to comprehend that book before I can then read something else. That's slightly on pause. I mean, I'm listening to it slowly. I have about 400 pages left. So I decided to pick up today The Night Prince, which I started off around like 25%. And I'm now 58% through, and I put it down originally because I could see it veering towards the love triangle. Love triangles only get a pass if it's polyamory, and because this is Alpha Wolf Shifters, I highly doubt it. As much as I want it to, no. But as I'm reading the book, the main love interest, that was the main one in book 1, I was sitting here and I'm like, I don't know if I like him as much anymore. And it's subtle. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's slight dissent between the main character, Aurora, and again, the guy she's currently with, which is Callum. And the way that the author's doing it, and I don't quite know, because I'm a Blake girl. I'm a sucker for the tall, dark and broody, and the evil people, and the people who will literally do nefarious crimes. Not necessarily for other people or like their women, although that is a yes. Also because other people are worse than them, and they're like, you're a badass, and they're like, you are terrible, I'm going to be even more terrible to you. And it's like a cycle, because like they suffered when they were younger as well, which I'm hinting that's like Blake's issue as well. Even though Aurora's like, oh, he's a killer, I can't. I'm like, is he really though? Is he really? But Aurora's like, no. And I'm like, I don't get it. This is probably why I don't like Goody Two-Shoes characters, and the only one who has really like nice Goody Two-Shoes characters that I like is Sean Lawless' series. But anyway, The Night Prince, I am enjoying it. Blake is just my favourite character. He's just my absolute favourite. And people, like, I'm not saying he's a good guy, he's not. But also, I do feel like he's twisted a narrative about himself that isn't necessarily wholly the truth for the reasonings why he does these things. He's making people make up their own assumptions of it and just not correcting them when he knows they could be blatantly wrong, right? But there's a couple of things that's happening, and there's tension and stuff between them. Obvious love triangle, but it feels like it's pushing more towards Blake. I hope it does. If it goes back towards Callum after pushing me, I don't want to get my hopes up, but if it happens, I'm just going to be, no, I just don't know. I know the third book isn't out, because if the third book was out, I'd have to know, like, I almost want to know, in a sense. This is where I wouldn't mind this. I'm not really, spoilers again, I'm not really too fussed about them half the time, but this is the one where I wouldn't mind knowing the ending, the end game couple, right? So like, I can know from the beginning, oh wait, no, Callum is an end game couple. Cool, I won't get attached to Callum. Who's endgame couple? Don't know, but it's not these two. Okay, cool, great. Now we can figure this out, right? Or at least at this point, I'd love to know of a somebody could just tell me, no, it's definitely either Callum or Blake. That's how I like it, because I don't want to be like, I love this couple, I'm shipping this side of it, and then all of a sudden it never pans out, and I'm just like, it is kind of reminding me of the whole Twilight era of Edward or Jacob. But everybody always knew, I don't know, to me it felt like everybody always knew it was going to always be Edward. But I'm getting that kind of vibe. I'm getting that vibe. I kind of put it down in a strop because of the love triangle, but now I'm picking it up and I'm like, why did I put this down? This is really fun. Even though it has some kind of stuff and tropes that kind of bother me, like the lot of romantic stuff, it's always damsel in distresses, which this character is, but it makes sense for this character to be a little bit like that because she's sheltered typical trope, princess trope, sheltered princess that was used and abused by her father and using her to kind of get other lords on her. So it's misogyny, right? But she's never really been allowed to have any kind of freedom from being a woman, right? Is that kind of going back to it? But she's still strong and learning to figure out what she wants. But this is where the dissent is coming between her and the main love interest currently, is that she doesn't want to belong to anybody, right? Understandable considering her past. But he is not respecting her and her feelings in the sense of, I don't think he really understands. I don't think he can wrap his head around it, right? But it's these little things, it's sort of like, but you're not treating, like he's not showing her that she is his equal, right? Because he's so worried about hurting her because of his wolf. And it's kind of like, is it though? And he's probably got some trauma behind it as well, but she really has got some stuff she needs to unpack here as well. And he's just not helping or not reassuring her. And it's like every time that he goes onto a mission, he's not, and there's like little things he could do. You go, okay, right, you want to know how to take care of yourself? Okay, I'll teach you. I'll teach you how to use this. I'll teach you how to use this. Whereas Blake is always just like, fight. He's just like, whatever situation you get into, just fight. Like, she snuck in to get like wolfsbane, but he was there and he was like, yeah, take it. Like, fuck it. Yeah, you need it. And almost like not, I don't know if he would have given it to her at some point. I kind of get the vibe he probably would have. But he's all for her, like, arming herself in any way that she can. And he doesn't also lie to her. Well, he does. When I say lie, he kind of avoids a couple of secrets that he has. But he's not going to stop her from figure things out on her own. But he's also somebody who would never shelter her just to protect her, because he's like, you need to protect yourself. Like, yes, I will come for you if you're injured or whatever, or in harm's way, but don't hang around. And there was a point where she did get taken, and she was literally just kind of, there was a phrase, oh, I'm waiting for X, like, oh, I hope they could come quickly. And it's like, you're in this situation. Get yourself fucking out of this situation. Don't expect a man to save you. Granted, you're in a cell. There's not a lot you can do about it. But at the same time, it's kind of like, think, scheme. Like the whole point in book one, we were told she's very good at scheming, very clever, very good at manipulating and court politics and all of this. But it's not really coming across as shown a lot of the time. Partly because I think some of the tropes that's happening and possibly the direction the author wants to go down. But I just kind of wish there was a little bit more meat to the main character. She's still there a little bit. And to be fair, a lot of the qualms out of book one with the writing style has kind of disappeared in this one, which is good. But there's still something just slightly lacking for me personally. It's personal taste. But saying that, I'm still having a good time. So I'm going to go back and read and catch up to you, hopefully, when I finished it. What the literal fuck have I just read? I am shocked. I know I've just finished it, but I'm pretty sure this book's going to be in like my top books of 2025, because holy fucking shit, what was the emotional roller coaster I just went on. I was reading this, right? I gasped so fucking loud and like propelled myself off the sofa like fucking shit no, like I'm going to fucking fight in this battle thing that's happening, that I woke the dogs out. Hello, lovelies. And like now, no, and they generally look terrified and coming over like, what's wrong, as I'm like trying not to cry, because what do you mean? What do you mean that happened? But what do you mean? Like, shit, you know. So if anybody wants spoilers about this and wants to know Endgame, there's no confirmation, but she does kind of accept Blake, right? There's something, it's a bit more complicated, a bit more nuanced, but I'm back because Blake's back on the fucking table, right? Because fuck Callum, and he literally said that let's quote it. He went fuck Callum, and I went fucking yes, because oh my god, oh I am this series has me by the throat, right? If book 3 ends in a way that I hope it's going to end, meaning Blake and Aurora, not fucking Callum, because fuck Callum, it will be probably the top romantic book I've ever read. That is literally knocking Freya Mask and the Marvelous Light series off that pedestal. I kid you fucking not. I do have a sucker for like shifters stuff, but what happened and the lore behind it is crafted so well. I mean, honest to God, just so well. I am sitting here just fucking screaming. Oh my God, the lore around everything, how it all ended up coming together and was moved and manipulated, and the writing in this just stepped up from book 1, right? But then you have the character moments, and like Aurora really does come into herself. Like, she's not my favourite. I mean, obviously my blows to Blake. Hello. And like the reveal about Blake at the end, like I knew, okay? It was kind of obvious, but oh my god, I'm still shook. I need book 3. I need it. I need it now. I am dying. This is going to be the book. I can't find anything online of when it comes out. Apparently, a couple of comments have said it's coming out next year, but there's nothing on like Goodreads. The author's profile is not on Instagram anymore. I can't even find it. I can't find her Facebook. I can only find her on TikTok. So I'm just like, what is happening? When is it coming out? Because I know it had a nice Fairy edition. A part of me is like, do I hunt down? See how it ends before I hunt it down? Because this is a series that's either gonna literally make me love this or hate it, depending on how it ends, right? Like Bury Our Bones, the ending made me hate the book. If this goes in the way of a direction that I don't want it, I'm just not going to vibe. As in with fucking Callum, I am going to devour the whole fucking world with my anger and how much I hate this series because of that decision, right? I hope it's not going to go that way because it's a fated mate trope, okay? It's fated mate trope. But oh my god, I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to be able to read tomorrow? It's 10:30 at night. I'm in bed by fucking 8 o'clock. I couldn't fucking stop. I have a feeling I need to process some things a little bit better and a little bit more before I lose my ever-loving god and fucking mind, which I'm going to do. I have never been happier that I stumbled across this series coming out from a reading slump this year, and I read book 1 and I've read book 2, and I fucking love both of them. Because I do feel kind of bad for Callum, right? Because in book 1, I did like him. He's your typical nice guy. Okay, to a point. He's just nice, but there's nothing there. There's nothing that's like alluring. He's just nice guy, right? But then you have Blake, who, mysterious, dark side to him, right? When you understand the reason for his past, because he was literally tortured, you kind of get why he has that kind of allure to him. He does like to keep secrets, but he also likes people to just assume what they want about him, and he just doesn't correct them. He's just like, you think that about me? Okay, that's your prerogative. I'm just not going to correct you on your assumption. But there's also more to him. Like, I feel like with certain people, he feels so deeply and cares so much that he would burn the world down for them. And that is the kind of man I want. That is the kind of man I like. People who would literally go, you ask, I will burn the world down for you. Fuck everybody else and the consequences. I will burn it. I am there for that person. I'm there for that guy. I love it. And now I'm just like, what do I do with my life? Now this book. It was a fucking good book, guys. Next up is Strengths of the Few. I've read a couple of pages since before updating you. So I was on page 216. Now I'm on page 364. Out of, like, I want to say 700 and something. 707. And I managed to do that without spoiling myself on the ending. So yeah, I have a little over 300 and something odd pages left. Can I do this before the end of the year? This is the Saturday, the 27th. I still have most of Gone to the Dawn to read, Last Stop on Sia to read, and House of Chains to read. Along with like the 2 audiobooks, but I'm pretty sure I can get both the audiobooks done before the end of the year, although I'm dragging my feet in both of them because both of them, Alchemized and Assassin's Fate, I know exactly what happens in Assassin's Fate. I'm hitting that moment where I remember reading the book for the first time and I just sobbed my way through the ending of it, and I have 7 hours left of it. of the audiobook, and it was this moment I was like, I'm sobbing, full on sobbing through the book. Yeah. And then Alchemized, I just know is going to wreck me. Just going to wreck me. But yeah, I am enjoying The Strength of the Few, but I'm just not loving it as much as What Are the Many. I don't know. I don't really have much thoughts on the book. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm reading it and I'm having a good time, but I'm also not like having a lot of thoughts as I'm reading it. I don't know. I honestly don't. I mean, it's different because you have 3 different timelines. Kind of not timelines, different worlds, right? Centered around the same character. So you're trying to put things together. And I know a lot of people didn't like this book because it was a bit of a risk. And I can see why it's a bit of a risk compared to One of the Many. But I'm not hating it. But there's a couple of storylines in this. I'm just like, I don't care about this particular storyline. I want to go back to this one, which kind of happens in most POV books anyway. But I don't know. But I am enjoying this. I am enjoying the world. So yeah. I do say if you kind of, because a friend of mine, when she read The Word of the Many, she did point out, she was like, everything always works out for this. He wins everything. And it didn't bother me in Word of the Many, but now I'm reading this and she said this, I'm like, oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? A lot of things is kind of working out, but things are kind of coming together. I have also started Last Starborn Seer, and I don't know. Phoenicia is a friend, kind of loosely a friend, and I can see what she's trying to do with the book, right? But I do find that she's overloaded the beginning of the book with too much world building and too many terms. So instead of having like days of the week and months, it will be like moon cycle or something, and it just something about it doesn't really seem to click for me within the world building side of it. Like, I definitely think it's well thought out. But I do wonder if she just needed to kind of curl it back a little bit, then it would have been, I don't know, better to lead more with the character and then kind of, I don't know, it is a bit weird because you did open up the book and it's like all like the glossary of these terms and stuff, and I was like, I am skipping this. I'm not, no. And because it's an ebook and because it's an e-arc, it's very difficult just to flip back and forth, which is kind of annoying. Whereas if I had the physical book, I might have tried that. But I'm about 30% through it, like 35% through, and I'm just, So there's 2 POVs. You have Liliani, who I do kind of like her in a sense, and then you have Astrophel, who I did like him in the beginning, but now I'm like full on hate train. Sorry, I just don't like him. I'm kind of on a hate train, and I am buddy reading this with my friend, and in the Storygraph notes, I remember last time I was like, I'm not sure on him. I'm not sure if I like him, and now I'm just like full on hate train. Liliani is who she is as a person. She is born what they call, she's like branded, right? She's got this particular magic that nobody really likes, nobody really understands. She kind of shunned, but she's also the heir to the kingdom. And her father is very abusive towards her, but the way it's been written doesn't make it, I don't know, something about it doesn't sit right. And I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe because it's not going so deep down into the emotional connection that Liliani has necessarily. I don't know. I think it might be that, but I honestly don't know. But she tried to escape, basically, to go after and look for this like relic thing, right? And they caught her and whipped her like serving girl instead of her, right? And it was all a bit what not. But then she gets a letter from like an ancestor of hers that's long dead, I think, who used to be exactly the same as her, like the same kind of branded kind of thing. And it's basically enticing this quest, right? And they haven't gone on this quest yet. But she then takes it to her own father and uses it as a way to get out of the binding that she had, like marriage, to Astrophel, right? And Astrophel's not very happy about it because he's an orphan, but he also wants some people to like recognize him for who he is. Like he doesn't necessarily want the power with it. He just wants people to like not hate him for his upbringing and because his father died on some border skirmish thing. I don't really know, nor do I care. So he was going to use that as a way to gain some sort of standing in society, right? And he is something really, really bothers me. He's constantly going on about how Liliani is cunning and manipulative, and that's what her father keeps saying. But I'm like, she hasn't done any of that. I don't believe it. She's got this letter and she's taken to you like in open face, and she doesn't want to be bound to you. And you're taking basically her almost not wanting something as being manipulative to get her way. I just don't believe it, because he keeps going on about how she's so cunning. Oh, I have to watch her. And all of this, like what her father has said and X, Y, Z. And it's just like, this isn't true. She's not cunning. She's literally been shunned most of her life, has been hated simply for who she is. She's not been allowed to go around like unveiled. People are afraid of her touch because of who she is. And it's like, what? And you're now saying that she's cunning and that he, like, you have to watch her, like, because he really, really wants this binding, because he's the only body who would marry her. Even though she's the literal heir to a kingdom, he's the only one that literally would marry her, because he has no other hopes than to get any kind of standing. And he is close with her father, and he is almost not quite raised, but he does think of her father as a little bit like his surrogate father in a sense, which is kind of weird in of itself. It's like, it doesn't really come across weird, but I don't know. I did like him when I first read one of his chapters, and then I was like, no, don't like him, because he didn't know how abusive Liliani's father was, right? But then he found out, and then he still stood, but like he didn't really do anything. He was like on the verge of threatening to do something to Liliani, like her father was on the verge of threatening to do something to Liliani, and he stepped forward as if to be like, don't. And then he got a look, right, from the father, and Astrophel just like stepped back. And I was like, are you shitting me? I'm meant to care for this guy. Is this where their romance is going to brew between the both of them? Am I meant to care about it? Right. Then Liliani basically defied her father, snuck in, used a flare thingy majig, I don't care, more world building, summoned a lot of the like clans on the out tribes that they've had like wars with before. They then arrive, and then it's literally a cockfest between one of the clans like rulers and Astrophel of who's got the biggest fucking dick, and I don't care. I'm talking about this book. I'm really struggling, but I don't want to DNF it because it's a friend's book. I don't know. I am struggling. I'm kind of hoping they're going to get onto this quest soon, so we can like move away from like being in the same like castle kingdom, and then I think it will get a bit better. But yeah, if the world building was toned down a little bit, I think I'd like it a bit more, because there's so many phrases and stuff that she just says, which is fine, but it's just because you could kind of guess what they mean, but it feels very like, huh? As you're reading it, like Star's Day and Moon Cycle and all of this going on, that just, I just don't know. It's just lacking something that makes me go, oh yeah, cool, right? And I think because there is so much in it, I kind of think that Phoenicia possibly should have gone, like, reverted back to just normal weekday, normal day, and normal time. But have everything else be this new thing, then it might have worked. But I could be completely wrong, but I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it, which is sad. It's very sad. So, I don't know. Apparently, it is meant to be like the last unicorn across a female version of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I haven't read the last unicorn, but I haven't yet to kind of see anything else like about it. But I don't know. I hate it when I read friends' books and I end up not liking them, which is why I tend to not really read friends' books. But because it was an arc, and I was like, I'm in my romance era, let's pick it up. Anyway, I'm going to go back and try and read some Strength of the Few. Hopefully I can restore some faith in myself in that I will end up really liking this. Hi, hello. There is not much of an update. I'm on part 3. Apart from, this is upside down. I'm on part 3. I should have been reading today. What did I do? I had a nap. I had a nap. And I shouldn't have, but I'm exhausted. I've hit the Christmas exhaustion at this point. So this is kind of where we are. So, but what is happening? Who's messaging me? What's going on? It's work. It can wait. So I am starting to doubt the ability to be able to finish all my currently reads before the end of the year. I know I can definitely do Alchemized, and I could definitely do Assassin's Fate, because I'm on the edge of it. I have like an hour left of Assassin's Fate. I am putting that, I've stopped reading that, because I know what happens at the end of that, and I am not ready to be a crying mess. Not right yet, but also I do want to read the last few chapters physically of Assassin's Fate, because the narrator isn't the best, but I know if I physically read, I'm just going to be crying. I'm just going to be sobbing. Like, when I tell you, I am literally sobbing my way through I'm not kidding. Heart blown wails of crying and tears, and just, I can't cope. And I know I won't be able to touch another book for a while after I've read that book. So that's on pause till like the 31st. Yay. But I have about, how many pages do I have of this left? I'm on page 500. I have 200 pages of this left. Am I going to be able to get through this tonight? No. Am I going to try and hit 100 pages? Possibly. It is 7 p.m. And I have been procrastinating reading. So will I get 100 pages tonight? I don't know. I want to aim for at least 60. So we will see. So we will see what I can get done in 2 hours for a good bed, because I need to go to bed relatively early, and then hopefully I can get up, and then hopefully I can just read and stuff, because I'm house sitting tomorrow that I need to pack for and all sorts of stuff. And I forgot I had another client booked in tomorrow, and I was like, I thought it was Tuesday, and it's not, it's tomorrow. So we're on the 20, oh, shit. I also meant to film something for somebody else. Fuck. We are on the 28th of December right now. I have 29, so 3 days to finish 200 pages of this, get through 15% of Alchemized, easily done because it's with audiobook, 200 pages of Malazan, and 200 pages of The Last Star Wars here, which I'm really struggling to read. There is also Guns of the Dawn there. I don't know. I've got no idea if I can manage that, because I do have the audiobook for it as well, so I could tandem read that if I wanted to, but that might be the one that I don't know. This is failing. It's not going well. But, fuck me, people can fuck off. Oh, okay. It's a friend wishing me Merry Christmas on a YouTube video. It's fine. I am just peopled out right now. I'm just peopled out, and I don't have a lot of drive to be polite anymore. I just want to be left alone in my cave. But I am enjoying this. The whole thing on... This is Strengths of the View, by the way. I've taken the cover off. But the whole thing of where I was confused... It wasn't it. I have a feeling it was my autism brain not understanding speech and dialogue. That's kind of what I think it was. Because sometimes I get that. Like, I get it in real life, right? They talk and they jump from this, and I'm like, you have lost me completely. How did you jump from that to that? Like, how did you... I just lost. Like, it's almost like people are speaking a different language, right? And sometimes I get it in books. Not all the time, but sometimes I do. And this book I did, because what it was... is somebody literally just said, just so you know. And I was like, no what? What do you mean no what? What do you mean no what? It was just so they know. It's a very, very minor spoiler, so I am going to tell you. But it's basically just so they know who, like, a person of power knew about I want to say Anguis. Anguis? I don't know. The rebellion, basically. That was it. And my brain fixated on it, because I was like, I don't understand why he said that. And I think that's part of it, because, like, I don't understand why people say things. Like, in real life, they're going, I was like, what? Where did that come from? I don't understand it. I think the same with books. Like, why did you say that? I don't understand it. And that's kind of what I think is getting me a little bit with this. And there was one other instance, which I have kind of forgot what it was, but it was a bit where I just, like, forced myself to let it go. But generally, like, the Strength of the View isn't that confusing. It's just 3 POVs. You have 3 vises. That's it. And I can understand a lot of people, like, you have to have your brain switched on a little bit, but it's not that hard to figure out, like, what is going on, in a sense. So it's not like a Malazan book, you really have to have your brain switched on. Spear Cuts Through Water, you kind of do a little bit, even though not so much. I'd say, like, Strength of the View. So you have Spear Cuts Through Water, and you have Malazan, right? Spear Cuts Through Water is in the middle, and you have a Strength of the View underneath that, to understanding of what's happening. To how confusing it could be. It's really on a very, very low level compared to the other books. So I don't understand why people are just confused by it. But it got juicy yesterday. I started picking up, and then I had to go to bed. So, but I did manage to read 100 pages yesterday. And I am also annotating this as I'm going, so I'm, like, highlighting. I use a pencil to annotate, and then I fold the edge corners so you can kind of see the edges. Yeah, I annotate my books. Who cares? I also annotate my special editions, but yeah, I have 200 pages left of this, and I think I'm going to try and just chill out and read for a bit before I go to bed. It's picking up to my enjoyment of how much I love Will of the Many, where it didn't before. So that's a good thing. I'm glad of that. How many pages can I get read tonight? Who the fuck knows? But I'm gonna have a good time. So you know how I said I was gonna read yesterday? That didn't happen. I picked up Strength of the Few and I read a paragraph, and then my brain went, we are not focused enough to read this. So, or more likely probably is the fact that I knew, because it was late, that I wouldn't have a lot of time to read. So what's the point of reading if I'm just going to read one chapter? It's probably more because it was Strength of the Few and I knew I was going to get really hooked into it, and I knew I was really, really tired. So I was like, we can't just read this. And then today, while I was at work, well, I could have put Alchemized on the audiobook. No, what was I doing? I was listening to YouTube videos. Because for some reason my brain is just dragging with finishing both Assassin's Fate and Alchemized. Yeah, mainly Alchemized, because I know Assassin's Fate will just completely destroy me. And I'm so close to finishing that. And then there's Alchemized, which everything that I know has happened, and I'm just don't know if I'm mentally prepared for that. But I need to pack for house sitting, because I'm house sitting for someone with a load of bunny rabbits and stuff and cats. Don't know if I've got the dogs. I don't think I have the dogs. From today to like the 2nd of January. So I need to get that done. Debating tidying the house and putting my Christmas decks away. So while I'm doing that, I have my headphones here and I'm going to listen to Alchemized. I'm forcing myself to continue on the book because it has gotten to this point, and I don't know if does anybody else get like this, right? Where a book is so wateringly good that you put off reading it because you just don't want for it to end. Yeah, this is Alchemized for me. What's going on? But no, I need to crack in. I need to finish it because I don't know if I can read Strength of the Few and House of Chains before the end of the year. Bearing in mind, I also have Guns of the Dawn. That's on the TBR. That I don't know if it's going to be possible because it's the 29th. That's a lot of pages, and I'm working. So it's not just like I'm reading, like not working the whole time. This is going to be hard. I'm being too negative. I'm going to believe I can do it. If I believe it, if I manifest it, maybe it'll happen. As you can see, I'm stuck in a predicament. I have a cat on my lap. So we're doing yes, hello Jelly. So we're doing the update from this point of view, and I'm hoping everything's going to sound alright because my microphone is just balanced on my chest. But it is December 30th. How many books have I finished? 1. I finished Alchemized. I did finish Alchemized, and it was what a book. But from what everyone has said I've manacled, I kind of expected to cry at the end. And I was just expecting something truly heart-wrenching to happen, but nothing really did. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I know Alchemized isn't manacled, but from what I've heard, it pretty much is the same kind of plot, right? But it's very good at showing the horrific side of war and what it's like and the lengths people are willing to go, especially if you're a spy as well. Like how that plays on your mind, what you were forced to do under all of that to keep your cover, to even 18 years later, you're still suffering from the abuse that happened as well, and that you're still not fully healed. And all of these things that just kind of mix together with a romance that just tied within it. I know so many people say Alchemized is not just a romantasy, and I kind of agree to a point, but the whole plot of the book is centered around Helena's and Kane's relationship, because without them falling in love and them having all this stuff they did through this war-torn world, shall we say, and how they happen to fall in love. I don't really want to say too much because, hello, Pussycat, do we really want your ass in the camera? No? Okay, you're just moving. Okay. You want to be a star of the show? Hi, Jelly? Wearing the cone of shame. If you didn't itch your skin, as you can kind of see constantly, you wouldn't have to wear it. But here we are. So, yes, Alchemized is at its core romance, but it is also at its core a story about the after effects of war, to put it in simplest terms. It is a very good book. I will be rereading it. There were so many things, so many quotes, and I'm going for this book and I'm thinking, do you know, you're pissing off? Okay, fine. See you later. You know have you ever read a book where it's been so good that you just don't want to read it anymore because you don't want it to end? That was Alchemized for me. I did get to the end and I was like, there's like 95%. I've read 9, I had like 5% left. And I was like, things are too nice. Something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. Because I'm remembering a lot of my friends' reactions from reading Manacled on how they were just sobbing the whole time. And a couple of people, I want to say, potentially did that with Alchemized, but I don't know. And I don't know if because of the whole Manacled, a lot of us have that kind of deeper connection to the original source material, or if it was just written differently. I haven't read it. I don't know. Okay. But I think I was expecting something that then didn't really come. So the ending I enjoyed the ending. I think it was good, but there was something that just made me go, I was expecting I didn't quite get to like, so let's say you're on a roller coaster, okay? You're on a roller coaster, you're going up to the top and you know there's a drop coming, okay? And you go down the drop, but you don't go the whole way down the drop. So like you're expecting something and it doesn't fully deliver on what you're expecting, but it does. That's kind of my feel on Alchemized. I did still enjoy it though. And there are moments of it, I'm like, oh my God. Like there were a lot of moments through it that did really pull at the heartstrings. There were a couple of moments that I was like, I need to put this down because it got incredibly dark. And it did. And it is very dark. Do check the trigger warnings. Like when I say, if you could think of something that's in there that's going to be triggering, it will be in the book. Now we come on to, I came home from work and the time I probably should have spent reading during the day in between work, I had to spend shopping around for car insurance. Yeah, I'm the stupid pleb who has to shop for car insurance on New Year when you have Christmas and everything else that you're paying for, and all of a sudden you have fucking more money to spend. So I spent more money than I wanted to spend, but it was actually reasonable. Shopping around for car insurance, ringing my dad and being like, does this look right? And he's like, yes. As I'm trying to FaceTime it, and he's not very well at the moment. So it's a lot of money. I don't want to just click it and go through and then realize, holy fuck, I got something wrong. So, and I also needed his driving license because he's a named driver on my car. It seems fitting. I'm insured on his, so I nick his car all the time when mine's out of action. So that ate into my reading time. I had like a whole hour I could have read. No, I was doing this, filling out this form, then going on, I had to go and like compare the market, right? Then you get the quotes, then you click onto the insurance website, then you fill most of it all out again. Then you have to go through everything again and make sure everything's all done and right, and make sure and add the things that you want added. So then I went to work, and by this point I had a headache. I had a migraine. Well, it was on the way to becoming a migraine. Most of my headaches do. If I can take a tablet, which is usually a strong dose of tablet, I can get rid of the headache and it's fine. So I took one, went to work, headache was still there. Finished work and then got chatting to one of the yard owners and stuff. And then the headache kind of went, and then I was coming back, driving home, it's a little bit better. But I took another tablet and then ate dinner, had a shower, seeing me in my lovely, lovely winter pajamas. And by the time I ate dinner and sat down, it was like 6 o'clock. After sorting the animals, looking after, like the cat, as you can see with its all itchy problems, there's another cat, there's rabbits, put the chickens away. I haven't got the dogs this time, which makes life a little bit easier. But by that point, it was 6, and I still had like 200 pages to read over what are the many? No, strength of the few. I didn't manage that. I managed to get to page 641, which I don't even think is 100 pages that I read today. Which, like, is not bad. We think a busy day, reading, fine. But when you think I still got all of Guns of the Dawn to read, pretty much, because I only read like 100 pages of that. I still have 200 pages of House of Chains, which that's a dense book. So to read all of that and to follow along with finishing Strength of Few, and I am working tomorrow, but I've only got one client tomorrow. So, and I do have Guns of the Dawn on audio. So it's not as bad, even though I don't like the audio, but I could just grit my teeth and just put it on 3 times speed. Do I do that? Possibly, while I'm at work and driving to and from work, and see what happens. And debating whether or not I go to the gym, or if I just try and literally spend all of tomorrow just trying to read and crack through this, because I've also have the last Star Wars to read, which I'm now 37% the way through, which starts on part 2. And I messaged my friend this morning and I was like, I'm not feeling it. And she was like, I did wonder. She's really enjoying it. We're both budget reading it. The author is a friend. I feel bad. It's nothing terribly wrong with the book. It's just something lacking in it that just isn't really drive me to pick it up, right? It's kind of what I would call like a mediocre book at this point. Like, I could finish it, it could be a 3-star, right? Okay, mediocre, that's fine. I'm never gonna think about it and move on. Okay, because I know people say 3-star books aren't bad books. I kind of disagree, because 3-star books are mediocre. Why am I going to read a mediocre book when I could just DNF it and read something better? That's my opinion on that. I DNF 3-star books. Sometimes 3.5 stars, but I also rate on vibe. So sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to DNF it. I'm not really feeling it. And there's nothing wrong with the book. It's not bad. It's not like what I would call a 1-star book, but it's also like fine. It's mediocre. It's just there. It exists. I'm never going to think about it again. I have no initial drive to go back and pick it up. But if I did pick it up and I did finish it, it would just be mediocre. So why am I pushing through it, right? But that's my hot take. 3-star books. 3-star is a bad rating. At least on my system. Everybody else's systems could be entirely different. I have 70 pages left of Strength of the Few. I am enjoying it, but on this point, there is like one point of view where I'm a bit like, nah. On the other two, they are more interesting, but The Wood of the Many is better. I hate to say it, The Wood of the Many is better, and I know it was a big like leap for Islington. Not leap, ambitious, shall we say, to go in the direction he's gone with Strength of the Few, and I am enjoying it. It's not as confusing as everybody makes it out to be, but I am enjoying it. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, okay. I just prefer The Wood of the Many, personally, to Strength of the Few. It is still a good book. I'm still enjoying it, but I just think book 1 just hit a little bit stronger. But it doesn't have all the complications that Strength of the Few is having with everything Islington is trying to tackle. But it's 10:15. This is way past my bedtime. I'm not going to read much longer, so I'm going to go downstairs to bed. I'm probably going to put Guns of the Dawn audiobook on for a little bit while I play a game on my phone, just to decompress until I'm really, really tired. Then I'll shut it off and then go to bed. And can I get through all of these books tomorrow before midnight? Can I? Because I still got Assassin's Fate to read. But to be fair, like there's only like 1 chapter of that gone. So if I ended up like reading 1 chapter on like New Year's Day, I'm going to count it as I read it the day before. Fuck it. Don't tell no one. But I'm going to go try. Let's see what chaos I can get myself into tomorrow. Well, it is 7:30. I have my coffee. I've sorted the animals mostly. Jelly's disappeared somewhere. She'll be around. She just needs her medication, so I'll have to hang around and wait until she turns up, because there's no way I can find her in this state, because she is what she is. She's a cat. She'll come when she's ready. But I have my coffee ready. I have some snacks. And I have my book. Can I get through the rest of the Strength of the Few, like 70 pages, before I have to go to work? Let's see. Strength of the Fuse done. It is done. And it is 1:15. I did go to work. I finished it before I went to work. That was a lie. That was a lie. That was just a lie. But I did go to work. And then I had to run and see my horse to put an extra rug on her because it's going to be cold tonight. So she's nice and toasty. And I was going to do that later on, but I have to take a little cat to the vet later. So that's derailing my original plan. So am I going to be able to get through all of these books? Who knows? Who knows? But Strength of the Fuse finished. I have mixed thoughts on it. I have done a reading vlog for it that will probably go up next week from when you were all seeing this. So if you want, it's going to be spoiler free. So if you want some thoughts, I'd kind of go for that. But One of the Many is better. I'm conflicted a little bit. I don't think I hate it as much as everybody else. I did overall enjoy it, but there were a couple of things that did just kind of bother me a little bit. And I don't know. I was kind of expecting not necessarily the same ending as One of the Many, but I kind of was expecting a little bit more high stakes, and it didn't really give all of that. It kind of alluded to a couple of things that I do think the ending needed a little bit more work on to really solidify what was happening with one of the Visses. So, but it was entertaining. It was all right. It's just not like if you love the One of the Many and then you re-strengthen the Few, it's just going to be a letdown. But I am curious to see where the series is going to go, because in every series you're gonna have a book that's going to be better than the others, and it can be a book one, it can be whatever, right? And it's a sequels can be hard to write. But I was listening to Guns to the Dawn at work. What chapter am I on? I'm on chapter 20, which is 379. I started on page, I don't know, I've lost my moment that I was in. I was like 20% in, right? And then now I'm like 50% in to this. So if I just had this to read, easy, could smash it out, no problem, right? But the trouble is I have a couple of other books I need to read. One is The Last Starborn Seer, which is the one that I'm putting off the most because I'm just not that interested. But I think next I'm going to go back to House of Chains, because I'm on page 739, which I don't remember getting to this point. I thought I was nowhere near as far in this book. Out of 1,115. Okay, I thought it was like 900 pages, but it's not. I have 276 pages to read at Malazan Book of the Fallen. It is 1:30. It's 1:30. How many hours have I got left? Just tracking down. This is getting intense. So I'm going to go read and hopefully get this all down. And then hopefully taking the cat to the vet later will be easy, where I can then just listen to Guns of the Dawn. So I'm not doing anything, but also it's taking time out of my day. I've got to midnight. This is not going well. So the cat's gone to the vet. And then immediately when we got home, the whole reason to go to the vet was to get a bigger cone and to help put the cone on. She took the cone off in the cat carrier en route home. So I don't know how long this is going to stay on for, but hopefully she'll be fine. Hopefully she can eat. And I'll have to check her later. If not, I have to cut the cone and a little bit, and just so she can eat and see how it all goes. But hopefully it'll be fine. Hopefully it'll be fine. But I read 2 chapters of Guns of the Dawn, so I'm now here, which is about 60 something percent. 69%. So according to Audible, if I'm doing it on 3 times speed, I will have 2 hours left. I'm going to go back to reading House of Chains. I downloaded the audiobook so I can tandem read, because I read quicker that way. Because if I was reading these just physically without the audiobook to help me along, I would not be winning this challenge. I'm going to go back and read. I'm going to go double check on the cat quickly. And then hopefully it's 4:30. I can lock in, get this done in like 2 hours. So it'll be 5:30. So fingers crossed. So I've had dinner. I have sorted the rabbits, meaning fed them and let 2 out and put the other 2 back in. That took a while because Waffle was like, I don't want to get back in the cage, which, like, okay, babe, I get it, but you've been out for 4 hours. Then, what else did I do? I think that was it. I had dinner and did that. And I have got to page 816 of House of Chains. So I'm getting there. And it is 6 o'clock. I kind of wanted this to be done by 6:30. It's not. This is not going to go well. I have a feeling this is not going to go well. I literally said, let's try and get everything finished by the end of the year and then just procrastinate reading. I might turn off my phone, but I'm going to go back and read. So hopefully we can get this done. House of Chains is done. It's done, it's dusted, and it's 9:20. Look at past me who said, I could get this done in a couple of hours by 6:30, 9:30. And I was doing the audio as well, but to be fair, I was doing the audio on the Libro FM browser on my PC because it was taking forever to download on my phone, because where I'm currently staying, the upload and download, like internet, it's a bit shit. So it's not really working very well. But yeah, I finished it. Middling, the worst of the series so far, which is it actually probably on par with Gardens of the Moon, to be fair. Actually, no, it is worse than Gardens of the Moon, because Gardens of the Moon, there were little tidbits I was like, oh, I'm interested in this, but the overall experience was a bit middling. I don't know if I'd have that experience on a reread, but I feel like on a reread, even with this on a reread, I still would be a bit middling with it. So it was fine. I have finished it. It's done, finally, and I can move on to Midnight Tides, which I've heard is really good. I've heard it's so good. But Guns of the Dawn is up next. I have 200 odd pages to read of Guns of the Dawn. Then I have 50 pages to read of Assassin's Fate, because in my head, when I started rereading The Realm of the Elderlings, I was like, you are going to see out the year sobbing your eyes out over this incredible series. So that is what I'm going to do. I thought I had like a chapter left, but I don't have like 5. So it's like 50 pages apparently, but you know, we will see. We will see, because I don't think I can get to the Last Seer tonight. I'm pushing it on finishing this alone. So this is not going well. With me reading out the year of just not having any books on my currently reading. Yeah, great. I started this vlog 2 weeks ago. I haven't even read every day since then. There should have been times where I should have gone, do you know what, Mair? Don't doom scroll. Don't play this fun little solitaire word game you do on your phones. Just read. No. Past Mair is stupid. I don't like her. So now we're dealing with this problem. So I might go and get changed into some jam jams. You can tell I'm already fucking, I can't, am I going to last the night? This is usually past my bedtime as it is. So this is going to go well. It's 9:30. I do want to go to bed. But to be fair, I am really enjoying Guns of the Dawn. So I do actually want to get back to it. But I also probably should have finished this way before. I started this as a buddy read with a friend and I bailed on it because I hit a slump. And to be fair, the beginning of this book was a bit rough. But once you get to the point where she actually goes to war, it's interesting. But there's a bit rough at the beginning of it, right? And then I just bailed on her and read Monster Smart instead, when I shouldn't have. And now I'm finishing it all in one go. I don't have much thoughts on the book either. And now I'm finishing it on like New Year's Eve, trying to finish the book. I have so many regrets. Past Me was done. Guns of the Dawn is done. I really like this. I really did. That lighting isn't great. I did really like this. Also, excuse pajama time. It's fucking 11:15, okay? Pajama time. But I did really like this. And I almost want to go back because yes, listening on 3 times speed when I'm doing normal chores, it's not really I'm not missing too much. I can still follow along with what's going on, but sometimes I like to just, if I'm really enjoying a story, like to just take my time with it a bit more compared to other stuff. I just want to get it done. But because I was doing this challenge, I had to have it on 3 times speed. And then when I started physically picking it up, I put it on 3.5. I did really enjoy it. Bearing in mind, when I went to go pick this up, I went to go double check on the cat with the cone on. She's got the fucking cone off. She got the cone. I had to crawl under the stairs into the cupboard, get everything out of under the stairs to get to her. Luckily, she didn't run away. And then find the cone and then put the cone back on. And then she did come and sit on me for a little bit. But yeah, I don't quite know if it's going to last the night anymore. I do have the idea of letting the owners know, maybe get those cat walker things, harnesses, and just have that on and then attach the cone to the harness. So physically you can't get it off her head. And at least she can't. And then hopefully she won't be able to eat through the whole, like, she shouldn't anyway because she's got the fucking cone on, but I wouldn't put it past her to eat through fucking anything and everything. This fucking cat is like Houdini. Anyway, Guns to the Dawn is done. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I had such a good time. I really was, and especially the ending. Like, I kind of knew how it's going to go because that's the only resolution you could come up with, right? From like what's happening, right? So if you don't know about Guns to the Dawn, it's kind of like this is war that breaks out, right? And then eventually they end up drafting a woman who have never been drafted before, and Emily Malswick is a lady, right? She's of nobility, and she volunteers and she goes, and it's all about the war and the stuff and comrades, and then, you know, they end up having to come back home after the war's ended, and it's kind of, it's ended, but has it really ended? You know, she's trying to adapt or to, you know, from not being in war anymore along with everybody else. So then you have the implications of whoever is the conquering army. Everybody's on like the edge of revolution, right? Especially after war heroes, all of this, people kind of think, well, we could easily rise up, like to get all of, yes, we, you know, these people conquered, but we can still do this. So they're trying to, you know, the conquering army is trying to sort of curtail that because they don't want any more war either. And some of the solutions they have are horrific. And then there was a solution the main character had like made on the spot, but as a reader, like, that is the only solution to stop all these rebellions rising up. This thing needs to happen, and she did deliver on it, and I was really glad. And especially the revolution, and there was like a romance through this as well, but it's written, I'm saying this not having read Jane Eyre, but I do feel like it could slightly be written like Jane Eyre. It's very much through epistolary as well, which is quite nice. The only thing I will say about this, there was a couple of scenes that was alluding to sexual assault, and I was like, I understand it's war, it's there, but as I was listening to these scenes, I was like, no, don't get me wrong. There's books that I've read that have had these scenes in them, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it doesn't feel like I don't have that reaction. I did with this one, and it is very much about war, but I think the way it's being told, granted, it is sort of going into a little bit into what war is like, but comparing it to, let's say, Alchemized, who is again a war story and the aftermath of war and what it's like living through it, that was told, and the way the tone of that book was meant that when these darker scenes came out, it fitted the book. So you're almost like, oh yeah, that's the reason why that is here, right? This is a lighter tone in how it's told. So then when you add these darker themes of like sexual assault and stuff, which happens a lot of the time, it doesn't necessarily feel out of place, because yeah, it is needed, it is war, it's all of this that's happening. But my reaction is like, really, there are other ways to write about stuff like this and that kind of subject, I do think, but it didn't go graphic at all. It was just a couple of scenes that kind of brushed over them. Well, not really brushed over them, but a resolution happened pretty quickly from the end of that. But I do kind of think, yes, there is kind of this thing that can happen when you suddenly draft a lot of women into an army. But you look at today's time, or even back when women had just been started to draft and all of this and get all of that. I'm not saying it never happened, but I don't know if it's happening as often as people believe within their own comrades. Enemies, highly different ballgame. But anyway, on that note, I need to read 50 pages of Assassin's Fate, and it is 11:26. Can I do it? Can I read my way through the end of this book? Let's find out. I think I've already failed. Audible is telling me 52 minutes. This is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's just gonna take me just over midnight. That's so sad. Do you ever finish a book series or a book or whatever and just think, I want to do that all over again? Every time I finish The Realm of the Elderlings. Although this is the first time I've actually reread this book, because what year did it come out? Fuck me. It's been almost 10 years. It's been 9 years since this came out, and my copy is a bit beaten up, and like the hardback, it's come away from like the glue compared to like, it's falling apart, because I carried this with me everywhere when it first came out. Reading it took me a year to read it, if not longer, because I didn't want it to end, and I'm reading it, and if you've read this series, you know exactly what is put into these books. And I was like, I don't want that pain. And I knew it was coming, so I'd only read like a page here and there. And then I got to a point, it's like 200 pages from the end, and I just couldn't put it. I had to binge the last 200 pages because it was so painful and heart-wrenching. If you've read all the other books and you know everything, and then I didn't pick up a book for like a month after. I couldn't get over this series. I'm never going to get over this series. My reaction to the end of this book, the fact that even within 9 years of reading this, of this coming out, I can look on this ending, I think about this ending, and I could tears. If you ask me to be, oh, Mair, just cry, it'll be this ending I will think of, and I'll be just tears streaming down my face because of everything that happened from all the way into Assassin's Apprentice to here. And I know Robin Hobb is writing more. She wants to write Bee's story, but part of me is also like, this is perfect. This is how you end a series. This is perfect, because I just don't see this series continuing on without Fitz. I don't, and it's perfect. And I almost wish I would reread these books more often, because they are a comfort. I say this as I'm crying, but they are a comfort so much. This series, it's a series I will always go back towards. I can't even talk because I'm crying now. I can't even talk. I could just do everything with this series. I kind of feel like I just want to reread and annotate and learn everything that Robin Hobb has put into these books and just go back. And and everything between Fitz and the Fool and everything that happened, and Molly. I like Molly, okay, because I met Molly in this series. Because yes, I started False Assassins first, because it was in Waterstones. I remember it. I was with my dad. We were in Waterstones in our local town, and I was like, this looks kind of cool. It was a hardback. It looked this. It had like the swirls on it and it kind of gold lighting on it, but there was this parchment feel that is always within all of her books. Which is intentional. If you read the books, you kind of go, oh, that really fits, right? And I was like, I'm just going to read it. And so it sat on my shelf for a while. I picked it up. I didn't really read it straight away because I didn't really have that big of a TBR at that point, because I was, oh God, I wasn't that old. How old was I 9 years ago? 21. Oh, was I really 21? No, it was earlier than that, because that's when this came out. I can't remember when I was in college, right? I was like 17, and then I picked it up and loved it. I think I read almost half the book in a day. I was like, and the trouble is, if you've read False Assassin, like, you're going into that, and when you think about everything that's going on, not much really happens in that book. And yet, the way Robin Hobb wrote it, it was so compelling. Yes, I knew from reading it that it must be a part of a bigger series, right? But I don't think I was on Goodreads at that point. Robin Hobb was just such a compelling way to write that it's comforting and heartbreaking, and just not a lot happened in False Assassin, and yet I was sucked into the story. And then when False Quest came out, I picked that up and immediately read it. So I have these all in hardback. And then once I read False Quest, I went back and read the Farseer trilogy, or I might have read the Farseer trilogy after reading False Assassin. But because of reading these first two books, I knew something happened to a certain character, and I was like, and I knew what book it was. I knew it was Fool's Errand. So I put off reading that series for so long, even though that's my favourite of the trilogies. I just put off reading it for so long, and then I read it, and it broke me. And then I got to, oh, fucking hell, Fool's Fate. My favourite book of all time is Fool's Fate. It's the third book in the series. It's the best of the series. It's just incredible. And then this came out, and I knew Robin Hobb. I knew she was going to destroy me. So I didn't read it. It took me so long to read it. And when I tell you that I battered this around, I used this to kill a spider. I literally held it up, a massive spider, and just dropped it. I mean, look at it. You can see it's like all falling apart. And yeah. I don't know how long it's going to last, so I feel like I kind of have to get myself the paperback editions of these so I can preserve this first edition hardback. So I've done it. I finished it. I finished it at midnight. I'm still going to count it as a win. I saw the new year in on an incredible book that nothing will top for the rest of the year. Which is like, how's everything else going to be a disappointment? And I also saw it in on just sobbing over fictional characters. But yeah, I was off by half an hour. I couldn't get the last Starborn Seer fitted in at all today. With the amount of pages I've read no way am I going to read that. Like, come on. But it's now nearly 1 o'clock because I had to take a moment to decompress and cry. And I need to be up tomorrow and I am still wanting to just go and cry. I literally brought, I'm house sitting. I had a couple of chapters left of this and I was doing the audiobook. I brought this massive ass tome with me just so I could physically read the last couple of chapters. The female narration is fine. The male narration is not good. I'm glad they're redoing a lot of the audiobooks. I'm hoping they're going to do these ones. I've definitely seen it for the Farseer and for Life Ships, right? Because Life Ships is terrible. Oh my God. That woman just can't narrate. But I didn't want to listen to the end of this book because I knew I wouldn't have the heartfelt emotion that Robin Hobb is very capable of writing because of how the narrator sounds. The female's all right. The male narrator is a bit dry and he forcefully does a lot of things. It's not flowing like an actual character. I do want them to just redo a lot of them. If they did redo Fitz and the Full Trilogy, I want Moira Quirk to narrate B. She is my favourite narrator, don't get me wrong. But yeah, Moira Quirk, I want her to narrate B. But I am going to go try and go to bed. I read a lot of books and Strength of the Few, I finished Guns of the Dawn, and I finished Assassin's Fate, The Night Prince, and Pirate's Life of Tea. 6 books out of 7. That isn't bad. I'm pretty sure it was... Oh, and House of Chains. 7 books out of 8 in 2 weeks. That is not bad. I'm just a bit gutted I couldn't get Last Starborn Seer done. If I'd actually kicked myself up the arse, I probably could have finished it before then instead of procrastinating that I have been doing those last couple of days. But on that note, I think when I go to bed, I have accomplished a lot in this vlog. This was a fun challenge. It was very fun to do most of it on the last fucking day of the year. So if you'd like this and you'd like me to do it again, let me know because I actually did enjoy myself. And I managed to finish 7 books out of 8 within 2 weeks for the end of the year, which was quite fun. Do I recommend doing it? No. I'm going to be very tired tomorrow and I'm meeting a friend early in the morning. So that's going to be fun. So I'm going to go try and get what sleep I can and just probably cry over Fitz and the Fool and just Robin Hobb in general. So if you like this, leave a stack of books down below. No, if you like this video, leave me the book that you were starting the new year with. Or if you don't know, because you're a mood reader, leave me the book that you ended the year reading. And I hope everybody had a nice new year. And I hope 2026 is going to be amazing and full of incredible reads. And I hope you will stick around. And I will see you in the next video.